Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Morning Show with your hosts, Wayne and Gabby.
Good morning, real estate investors.
Real estate investors, welcome to the Canadian Real Estate Investing Morning Show. On today's show, we're going to be talking all about how to deal with a property that doesn't cash flow anymore. This came in from a listener email that was sent in. A real estate investor, newer real estate investor, who is dealing with a situation where they bought a property and it no longer cash flows anymore and they don't know what to do. And so unfortunate. I'm really sorry that you're dealing with this situation. But this listener asked if there's anything that they can do, any advice that we have that we can provide that can hopefully help them out of this situation. I can't make miracles, but what I can provide you is a couple different creative solutions that might be able to put a Band-Aid on the problem. But we'll also talk a little bit more about why the systems that we teach and how we go about doing real estate investing, the reasoning behind it. Because the best way to prevent and protect yourself from situations like this is to be proactive from day one. Not go out and try and buy a property on your own, try and figure it out, and then be like, oh crap, how do I fix this?
Yeah, this is very common. So I don't want this listener to feel like they're alone or that they made, this mistake that other people are immune to making. It is something that happens very commonly. But the thing that I like about where we are today is that, like, when I look back to when we started, like, we didn't have a lot of information to go off of. So it was really easy to make these types of mistakes and then to learn from them and then to correct and then to get better and better and better as we went. And that was kind of how we had to do it. But today, there's just less and less excuses for that because the education is so readily available. So, the mistakes are made, but, all we can keep doing is saying like, hey, everybody, there's these really great fundamentals that you can all follow. There's these really great systems that we can all put in place, and we can all make this real estate investing really easy, really simple, and really risk-free if you follow what we teach. And so let's correct, and then let's have this beautiful path moving forward.
Yeah. I hope that, and the email will explain a lot more context, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But I hope that from this, you can realize, okay, I'm not going to do that again. Moving forward, like Gabby said, I'm going to make sure that I follow these systems. I'm going to make sure that I buy the right properties from day one that are sustainable for the long term, so that I don't get in a position where 1 or 2 or 3 years in, like already, like you're in the first round, you get knocked out already. Like you got to be able to go the whole fight, right? You got to be able to make it through, at least 15 years. So I hope that this helps solve your problem, but I'm really hoping that it helps prevent problems from other listeners. And I'm so glad you guys are all here with us, because by listening to this and learning from this person's lesson, hopefully you can dodge that same mistake. Hopefully you can buy the right properties from day one so that you don't have to ever experience something like this. In a position where it sounds like, I'm hoping I can help them resolve it, but it sounds like they could be potentially losing over $100,000.
Yeah. That's a lot of money to lose. I'm sure they're not feeling very good right now.
No, that's a lot of shame comes with that too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And this is also the point where a lot of people would just quit, right? And so kudos to them for saying, hey, I think I could use some help, and I really want to make this work, and I really want to move forward. And how can we come back from this? So that's bravo.
Yes.
Clap, clap, clap. Yeah.
Absolutely. The systems that we teach are incredibly simple.
Yes.
Like if you're hoping for some like big moment, big reveal or something like that, no, it's really super simple stuff. And we want to keep it simple so that people actually do it. The more you overcomplicate strategies, the more we throw in all of these these 5 pillars and Wayne's super, success formula and, gimmicks and things like that, the less likely people are to actually do it. We like to focus on super simple things that people can actually do. Everyday people and everyone can do. There's so much opportunity in real estate investing in Canada, and there's so much opportunity for everyone to participate.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't want to talk about today, but the U.S. passed a new law a few days ago. What's it called? I always forget. The 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which is, it sounds like they're kind of going the same direction that Canada was going a few years ago, and they're trying to come up with a few new ways to remove barriers in order to build more houses faster and make housing more affordable. And I'm not going to get into it today because I haven't done enough research into it yet, but you'll hear me talk about it in the next couple of days. But one of them is reducing large institutional investors from owning single-family homes. And I only reference this because of the fact that, like, a lot of people are scared about institutional investors owning single-family homes in Canada. They don't. They really don't. Like, it doesn't make any sense for them based on the way that financing is structured. It's not that they're a bad investment. It's just that the way that commercial financing is structured, it doesn't make any sense for them to do it. The cool thing about residential real estate, and the cool thing about single family homes and other, forms of residential real estate, is the fact that it benefits everyday Canadians better.
Yes.
It makes, if you were to look, it's so hard to explain it. And I wrote an article on this. I haven't released it yet because I still need to rewrite it. There's a couple more key points that I wanted to add into it, but it's going to be coming out soon. But like, I hate it when people say, like, oh, institutional investors, why would they ever buy single family homes? It doesn't make any sense. If they're not buying it, then you shouldn't buy it. And I'm like, no, they're not buying it because they can't get the right financing on it. It actually, the way that for them to go about doing it, if you understood things better, you would know that it makes way more sense for them to buy big boxes because big boxes have better financing products and it makes more sense. There's more incentives for it, right?
Yeah.
For them. And the reason why they don't buy individual single family houses is because there's no financing products out there that are suitable, and you're not going to buy them all cash because that doesn't give you a great return on investment.
Yeah, no leverage.
So yeah, it's just common sense if you understand it, that like the game isn't set up that way. I'd promise you, if they could get unlimited residential mortgages at 3.8%, they would buy every single family fucking house in Canada, because it's way more potential. Yeah. But yeah, we don't have big institutional investors taking up our residential real estate space because it doesn't make any sense. All that to say, it makes sense for us. I'm getting pretty close to being one of those people that could be like, someone would like have a picket like sign out front of my house being like, stop owning so many houses. I'm getting pretty close to it, but I still like to hang around the everyday folk and just pick up. I'm still one of you. But anyways, residential real estate is a great opportunity for just everyday Canadians. Mm-hmm. Mom and pop families, young 20-year-olds, 55-year-olds, 70-year-olds. It's a great investment, and there's more than enough. We don't have the big institutional investors like coming in and, stealing our houses. No, like anybody can do this. And I had a great call last night, a great coaching call. And I see he's here. Yeah, he's here. I just saw him. Yeah.
He actually has a comment in here. Loved the value from last night's call with you, and peace sign, and in capital letters, gold.
I crammed in so much. I didn't get to sleep very easily. I don't know if I can say his name or not. Yeah, it was like, because I was
vibrating.
I was vibrating just from like just giving him as much information as possible, and we ripped through a lot of stuff. But I wanted to make sure he got the most value out of that. It was a paid coaching call. I wanted to make sure he got the most value out of that paid coaching call, and I was talking with him about it too. Just like it's I can't remember where I was going with this, but we talked a lot about like residential real estate and the opportunities that are available right now, and it really is super simple. Like anybody can do it, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I don't understand why people keep overcomplicating these things and trying to throw in these gimmicks and these schemes in order to speed things up. If you just have a little bit of patience and you just let it do its thing, give it 15 years and you set it up for success, set up the systems and just let it do its thing, there's so much potential in it. Yeah. Everyone could retire wealthy.
Yeah.
And not just retire wealthy and just Scrooge McDuck it, but they can hand the key to the safe to their kids. And their kids can then take those resources and then reinvest them the same way that you did.
Yeah.
And allow that wealth to generate, to compound through generations.
Keep growing. Yeah.
It's I get it, you don't have any money right now. I get it, you only got $20,000 right now, but that doesn't mean that your kids have to live the same way. Take that, allow it to start growing. And yeah, maybe it's only a $600,000 by the time you hand it off to your kid. But then your kid gets to start with $600,000. They don't start with $20,000. Allow them to start with $600,000 because then that $600,000 turns into $43 million for their next generation. Then they take that $43 million and then they turn that into $200 million. You see what I mean? Just like, it starts with you though. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I only got pennies. Pennies turn into nickels, which turn into dimes, which turn into dollars.
When you invest them safely.
And it's not hard to do.
It's not hard to do. Sometimes I feel like if we gave these simple systems and these simple methods some sort of fancy, complicated name, that people might be like, ooh, what's this?
Almost add more value to it, yeah.
Like make it almost seem more flashy, even though it's not flashy. I feel like people almost want to think that they're doing something complicated in order to feel like they're cool or special or something. I don't know. I don't know the human psychology behind it. But,
well,
yeah.
This email that came in, there was a little bit more to the email, which I'm not going to read all of it, but very similar things where they went through a program and a couple courses, this investor, and they were kind of sold this gimmick and same thing. And then they realized it was just all full of shit. So it's unfortunate, but that's just human psychology as well, which is what it is. Yeah. But back to that call last night, I had a great time, great time meeting that investor. And turns out he is very, very, I told you this afterwards, but he is like, literally he started telling me his story and I was like, dude, are you reading my bio? He literally had the exact same biography as me. Moved here from Ontario. Went to Alberta to create a better life, right? Did that whole thing. Got into drop shipping, Shopifying, white label, a little bit of Amazon FBA, tried all these different side hustles, sourcing products from China. And then he even did the same thing he was talking about. We haven't talked about this in a long time. Doing the whole going to Walmart and Home Depot and
picking up the
Target,
stuff?
going into the clearance sections and negotiating with the floor managers, the clearance section where it's 50% off. And I was like, what's the best that you can do? And then you would buy this, I don't know, this Tonka truck, that sells normally for $20, but you get it for 40 cents. And then you go and relist it on Amazon for $5 or something like that, or eBay. Like we had so many side hustles when we were getting started to build up as much capital as possible. Yeah. And I remember our garage, there was a time for a long time that our garage was not a place where you house a vehicle. No. Our garage was where you was a storage facility with pallets and pallets and pallets of stuff that we bought from China that we're selling online. And, I think to this day, we still have garden sprayers from Rona. I think I bought 300 garden sprayers for pennies. These long wand garden sprayers that I would sell on Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace. I bought them for 50 cents and I'd sell them for $20. And just I love the hustle. Yeah. I've always been an entrepreneur. I always love this stuff. So having that conversation with him and then him telling stuff that he did and me telling stuff and he's like
Wayne came out from his office from that call and was like, he's an entrepreneur. He was so excited. It's so rare. Well, he's like, it's so rare that he's me. I met I met a version of me.
Gabby said, "Are you guys going to be friends?"
Yeah, I'm like, did you just meet your new bestie?
But it's funny because he was saying that, like, it's so hard for him to meet people like me.
Yeah.
And I explained to him that, like, it's because there aren't people like us out
it's
there.
so rare. Yeah.
And I know this is a real estate investing podcast, and not everybody who I see you there, and not everybody who invests in real estate is necessarily an entrepreneur. You don't have to be. I mean, you could just be a normal everyday person that just has a little bit of extra savings. You put it into something and you watch it grow. But I know that there are a lot of listeners on our show as well that are also have that entrepreneurial itch as well. And just know that you are in the right place. You are definitely in the right place. Maybe I don't talk about these things so much because I try and stay on topic. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I explained this to him last night. I buy properties, you know what I mean? I'm in charge of raising the capital and the relationships. I'm in charge of determining, doing the market research and determining where the opportunities are in the market, what we should be focusing on, how to maximize it, how to get the best returns, how to structure it. Can I add any creative, structures as well? Financing, corporate structures, that stuff. That's my side of it. The second we get the keys, though, I hand it off to Gabby and the team, and then they take care of the rest. And I'm not involved in that side of it at all. That's my long-term wealth creation. Like what I do, I'm the entrepreneur. Yeah. So I'm focusing on my next big project. And I share a few of those, a few of our business models and a few of our,
Ventures.
Ventures with him last night. And I said, that's what I focus on. That's me. I am not the guy. I'm not obsessed with real estate investing. I already know everything I need to know. Mm. I used to be obsessed with it because I was learning and I got obsessed with it and I spent every waking hour figuring it out, but I've got it all figured out now. Now it's just a matter of me just kind of maintaining it and just kind of keeping up on what the new trends are. The last time I got excited about real estate investing was 2024 when I came up with Garden Suites. Yeah. And I went hard into that for, I'd say about 8 months. I was like, had my head down on it. Yeah. And then once I got it all figured out, it was a matter of like building it out and setting up the systems and stuff. Now it's ready. Now it's working. Now you guys can do it too. But I'm an entrepreneur, and I absolutely loved that conversation last night. It was a lot of fun.
But I think that's exactly what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is somebody who gets excited about creating something. Mm-hmm. They have an idea, and they're like, I need to make this happen. And you become you just said it, you quite literally become obsessed.
Oh,
where it's like, I see it all the time in you, where it's like, you need to figure it out. You need to make it the best that it can be. You need to figure out how you can create something that then you can share with the world. It's not just about like hiding behind closed doors. I mean, that's how you bring it to light, as you spend a lot of time behind closed doors, but you're obsessed with building something that can then be shared in its perfection, right? And that's entrepreneurship. It's like taking this little like itch, this little scratch that's happening in your brain, and you're like, oh my God. And then it's like head down, outside world shut off, and putting that time in making something happen. And I don't understand it. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know what happens in your brain to make you the way that you are, but I'm certainly glad that you are, because it's beneficial to me and my life.
Yeah. It's all about just knowing who you are and feeding that, right?
100%.
And that's why I related with him so well. I know what I mean, and provided him a few little pieces of advice about how to deal with situations and commonalities that we're definitely that we have.
Yeah.
There is a lot of loneliness with entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Not just loneliness, but just like it just feels like nobody else just gets you. And it's hard to connect and relate with other people. So you almost just kind of hide it, and you're not yourself. So you got to find ways to feed that in order to remain fulfilled in life. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you hide it and you put it away, and then you just never really feel like you're living. You know what I mean? You're never really feeling like yourself. But just understanding who you are and what's most important to you is really important, because, I mean, that's life. Just making sure that you're living every day to its fullest fulfillment. And, I know this sounds incredibly cheesy and it's a weird segue, but that's why we invest in real estate, so we could be fulfilled. But like legit, like the fact that I chose to go all in on real estate, and I explained this to him last night, instead of continuing with drop shipping and ordering, products from China and private labels and things like that. The reason why I stopped doing what I was doing and I went all in on real estate was because I was stretched too thin, where I was trying to do one and the other at the same time, and I just didn't have the bandwidth for it. Yeah. So it was a coin flip. I could have been successful in either of them, and we were quite successful in all the different side hustle ventures that we had as well. But I said, you know what, I'm going to go all in on real estate because I think that there's something here, and I think that I can build a life that can really feed what I need to be fulfilled, but at the same time offer the flexibility and the flexibility of being able to be a good parent and a good husband as well, being present. You know, being a CEO of a business can, depending on the business, can be very time, can take a lot of time from you. Mm-hmm. And you could be, you know, you think that you're a CEO, but you're really just the manager, or you're really just the technician. And I wanted to find something where I could be the CEO, where I could be the big brain, the big mind, the dreamer, the thinker, put things into motion, and then delegate. And I saw a lot of potential in that for me to be able to scale our real estate investing portfolio and business, to be able to be that person. So that way I could build it, then I can leverage it, and then use the resources that I'm leveraging to be able to build more and more passion projects. So when I say I'm working on a project, that means I got my nose down on the desk like for 6 months working on something that I'm trying to develop, right? It's not a fix and flip project. This is me having a really cool idea and wanting to see it through, and spending $50,000 in research and development in order to get it up and running, mm-hmm. building out a team, building out good partners, you know, to be able to see it through.
Getting through the legal.
That's what I like doing, mm-hmm. right? So real estate investing actually provided me the ability to be able to do that. Yeah. Because before I didn't have the resources to do that. Mm-hmm. If I had a really cool idea, I didn't have $50,000 to throw at it to see if I could ignite it, mm-hmm. if it lights up. So to be able to just be like, wow, this is really cool. I now have the time and resources to be able to do, I have the money and resources to be able to do that. And I have the time to be able to invest into it, to just go into it for 6 months where you don't see me. And I'm just like, just doing research, and just like having all these meetings and building it all out. Yeah. If I had a job, if I had $20,000 in my bank account, I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. It's hard to be an entrepreneur when you don't have that luxury of resources. Yeah. So the more wealth you build, whether that be wealth through time or wealth through equity or wealth through, you know, savings and cash, the more you have, the more flexibility you have to be the person that you want to be. Me, I like doing cool shit and building stuff. Mm-hmm. Other people love going for walks and reading romance novels. She doesn't read romance novels, but it's an inside joke.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh?
But I like when they're like romance thriller.
Oh.
Yeah. There's got to be some scary
There needs a few shades. There needs to be a couple shades in there. Shades of gray.
Okay, not that kind of. Okay, now it's getting weird. It's getting weird. Let's pivot.
But that's it. So, again, not to be like cheesy, because I know everyone's like, that's why we invest in real estate, to provide financial freedom, to be able to do the things we want to do every day. I'm just being real. Like, if you buy some decent properties at the right time in the right area, and you build it right, and you give it time, and then you maximize the potential, and you leverage the most that you can out of it to get the most out of it, right? Then within, I know 15 years sounds like a long time, but realistically, if you go as hard as we did, you can get it done in 7 or 8 years. And most of our students are right on track. I'll throw a name, Patrick. Patrick is right on track.
Yes. Yeah.
Patrick's right on track. He's done everything right. And he's actually pulling the throttle back now. Mm-hmm. And he's just going to like do a couple. And he knows because he's run the math. He's like, yeah, I'm totally like.
Yeah, he's like, I'm good. And I also got life to live. Like, I don't want to buy another property right now. I got things I want to go do.
Yeah. So he's like, I did all the hard work. I got it all in there. I set it all up. I might grab 1 or 2 a year for the next few years, but he knows that what they're going to build into, and he knows how to leverage them. So in 7 or 8 years, he's going to have everything he needs because it's going to grow naturally, organically. Yeah. That's all you need to do. Yeah. It's not that hard. Yeah. You just go hard for like a year, building up your reputation and your influence, and then, raising the capital to get the deals done, set it up. put the systems in place, forget it, go live your life, have some kids, whatever, travel the world, come back to it in a few years after, and just after.
Go do you, boo.
Yeah, it's. Does it really need to be more complicated than that?
No.
And that's Patrick. Patrick loves to go and just fucking live.
Yeah.
He's
Him and his girlfriend are great at just living and having a good time.
Living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me, I'll hide in an office with the lights off for 13 hours and just forget to eat. You know what I mean? But that's me. I understand me. Gabby, she has the things that she loves to do. So get to know who you are and what it is that fulfills you and build a life where you can feed that every single day, where you can live fulfilled.
Yeah.
All right. Now.
Good morning to everybody who's joining us.
Yes.
I know that it's like, we're already 30 minutes in here.
We're live on YouTube right now.
We are live on YouTube, and we have looks like a lovely crew with us here this morning. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to take a second to say good morning. I love how Stuart came in. Good day, plebs. Craig says, what do you want for that garden sprayer, bro?
I'll tell you what. If you buy the whole box of 30, I'll give you 25% off.
I know you think we still have a whole box, but we sold those. I kept a few, so we do have a few.
Oh,
in the garage,
I just see them hanging there, and we never use them.
That's true. We don't ever use them. So, Craig, hit me up if you want to negotiate a deal here. I can't think of your new friend's name. It's escaped me.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Screw it. I'm saying it's Matthew.
Okay, so Matthew
Did you know that my parents almost named me Matthew?
Really? I didn't know that.
There's so much in common.
Matthew says, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around, and I'm so glad the universe brought you guys into my orbit. I've got to get to work. Take care, you two. See you tomorrow morning. Oh, that's very sweet.
Very sweet indeed.
Love that. I love this for both of you.
If any of you other guys have similar stories, feel free to email us. You can send us an email at info@reimorningshow.com.
Yeah.
Let me know what kind of side hustles you've done, and let me know your big cool ideas, and as well, if you guys have any questions about real estate investing or anything else you want to talk about, you can just let us know by email and we'll talk about it. That's how this question came in today. It came in by email. Okay, so we'll take a quick little commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about what to do, if your property no longer cash flows anymore. Maybe it did cash flow when you originally bought it, but circumstances changed. A storm came through, and not literally, but I mean just like a storm came through. There's lots of different storms that can come through. And, wiped out your cash flow. What do you do? Right? And a lot of people, like Gabby said earlier, they would just, turn the sign and to close and turn the light off and then just quit. But you don't have to quit. You know what I mean? You made a mistake. Get over it. Let's see if we can fix it. Let's see if we can salvage it. And let's see if we can get back on track and get you back to doing it the right way. And for everybody else that's tuning in today, let's see if we can help you avoid that situation altogether and get you starting on day one with success. So that way you actually build a sustainable, lasting portfolio, something that will provide you wealth in your life, giving you the life that you want to live, being fulfilled, and then passing that on to the next generation to allow them to compound that wealth through generations. Take a quick little commercial break. We'll dive right into it.
Real estate investors need to treat debt differently than homeowners, and at Kirkland & Brennan Mortgage Group, we understand that. For the last 11 years, we've helped real estate investors plan and build their portfolios. We understand how to help you avoid fees, penalties, getting yourself stuck, and making sure that the deal you're doing today doesn't stop the deal you want to do tomorrow. You can reach out to Keaton, Keaton, at kbmortgages.ca. Put plan in the subject line, and we'll help you build a plan and then realize it for your real estate goals. We also coordinate with the other professionals like your accountant, lawyer, realtor, and we will help you build your portfolio. So reach out. We'll do our best to help. Thanks, guys.
You've got showings, lease signings, suite renos, condo board meetings, credit checks, mortgage financing, and every so often the tenant clogs the sink because they shoved macaroni down there. Stop. Breathe. Leave the bookkeeping to Fingo. Fingo is specialized real estate bookkeeping by real estate investors with tailored services for maximum returns. Save time. Enhance your returns. Claim the plumbing repair for that ridiculous macaroni fiasco. Book your free consultation at fingo.com.
Summer. While everyone's getting distracted, this is when the market gets quiet. Not because the opportunities disappear, but because the people do. Vacations, long weekends, these are the distractions I'm talking about. And that's exactly when serious investors make their moves. At Calvin Realty, this is one of our favorite windows. Less competition, more flexibility, and sellers who are actually open to negotiating. While everyone else is stepping away, we're stepping in. If you're looking to buy right, not just buy fast, this is your edge. Calvin Realty, opportunity doesn't take time off.
Hey.
Alrighty, we're back. Okay, so listener email came in, and this is what it says. Hi, Wayne and Gabby. I absolutely love your show. I know you hear this all the time, but I wish I would have found you guys sooner. I took a couple.
You have no idea.
Yeah. That's the most common.
You have no idea.
That's the most common comment that comes through. Like, we don't hear from people a lot. Like, we have no idea who listens to our show, really, besides like our live people, and then every once in a while. But that every once in a while message that comes through is like, oh my God, I wish I found you guys sooner. It's like if we rated the comments that we receive, that would be numero uno.
It starts with that, and then there's this long paragraph of all the things that I found this other person, and here's what I did, and here's how it all went wrong.
Yeah. which is what I'm about to read.
Yeah.
Okay. So, found you guys sooner. Okay. I took a couple courses that led me to buying these properties, and now I'm realizing that they are not great. They never met the 5% rule, which I see now was a big mistake. Now my rents have gone down this summer, and they do not cash flow anymore. I don't know what to do. I told my coach. They told me just to sell them and start over.
Great advice. So buy these properties, they buy those properties, and then when it doesn't work, well, just sell them and start over within a few years. Solid advice. Great coaching.
There's more.
Okay.
I love what you guys teach about keeping the property for at least 15 years and how cash flow is your cushion, not your income.
Right.
I'm ready to start again, but I'm going to lose a lot of money if I sell these right now. I'm not sure how much, but I think it'll be over $100,000. My coach was great at first, but I realize now that they were just telling me what I wanted to hear. And when I realized these properties weren't great, they just shrugged me off. I'm hoping you might have some alternative ideas for me that might help save me. Okay. That might help save me. Wayne.
Well,
this is one of those situations where when people are in this spot where there is a lot of money to lose, which again, I'm going to say it again, you're not alone. This is a place where people find themselves. Mm-hmm. This is where sometimes creativity can come in handy, right? So a lot of people just think like, I have these properties, I can't sustain them. I guess I am just going to have to sell them and start over. But there's this chunk of money that I'm going to lose. And this is where and kudos to you for writing in and seeing value. And I'm going to say what Wayne has to offer, because he is the guy who is, like we just talked about, you're the research, the figuring it out, the learning, everything that we needed to know about real estate investing. I just manage it over here. So realizing that somebody like Wayne might be able to say, well, hold on. Could we consider this? Or could we consider this? Or maybe we can do this and structure it like this, right? So kudos to you for realizing that maybe there are some other things that we can do here. And I'm sure that you have some ideas. So,
yeah.
What do you got?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was just watching myself on camera, and I was like, okay, well, maybe you should sit back up and smile a little bit, because I realize now that like my body positioning and my facial expressions completely changed. That's why I have a monitor, so I can see how I look, because sometimes I don't realize that my facial expressions don't necessarily match how I truly feel. My body positioning matches exactly how I feel right now. I want to punch somebody in the face. And I know exactly who it is because they mentioned it in this email, and I'm sick and fucking tired of hearing this shit. And I know that this person is not the only person that's dealing with things like this, being misled by fucking charlatans who say that they know what they're doing and then they don't. And then they go and follow exactly what they tell them to do. And then when in a few years it doesn't work out and they're just like, oh, maybe just sell it and try again. That's real estate. That's why they call it investing. Nobody said it was guaranteed. Fuck you.
There's always going to be risks. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do it properly, don't be teaching people how to do it. It's a fucking joke. And what do they lose? Nothing.
They made money off of it.
They made money off of it. They made money off of their shitty fucking advice because they thought they were some expert because they got it off of ChatGPT. Fuck around. Like, seriously, it's so frustrating. But the individual, the person that paid for your expert guidance, is the one that's going to lose minimum $100,000. And I looked at the details in here. It's more than $100,000. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. But like, I'm running numbers here right now trying to figure out how to fix this. I only read this email this morning. I kind of have like an idea where to go with it. I have a few options, but like I was just running some numbers. It's a shame. And it should be fucking criminal. It should be fucking criminal. I might even suggest hiring a lawyer. Reach out to me by email again. I'll send you some information. But if they told you to buy this property and provided you any sort of certainty, I don't know what kind of certainty or assurances they offer, I think you should hire a lawyer. I think you should go after them. I think it's bullshit. And I think that more people should stand up to these fucking idiots and actually file lawsuits against them so that future people who try and do this bullshit are a little more cautious and a little more, they think twice before doing it. Because this industry is just full of fucking sharks and minnows. I swear to God. Anyways, so I'm real sorry. I am really sorry, and I hate this stuff. So I'm going to do everything I can in order to help you try and get out of this situation. I'm not a fucking magician, though, and I mentioned this earlier. I can't turn back time. I can't erase the past. You bought something, and you structured it in a certain way, and if you sell this property right now, you are accepting those losses. And that's the thing about real estate investing, is that like that you lose your money when you sell. You make your money when you sell, right? It's like as soon as the transaction is done and you pay out the underlying financing that you have on it, that's the moment that it concludes it.
You've either made money or you've lost money.
Made money or lost money. And as you own the property, of course, you build equity through, paying down the mortgage and appreciation that you can leverage through, different strategies and things like that. So I know it's not like, yeah, but I'm making, or like your cash flow, for example, you get paid out your profits while owning the property. I understand. I'm just, allow me to explain this very simply, okay, before people start hitting the comments. You lose the money. You lose when you sell. Because when you sell, that is when it is done. There's nothing more you can do. But if you can hold on to the property, then you can try and salvage it. The issue here is that they no longer have cash flow. And I don't know your financial position right now. I don't know how much you make. I don't know if you can support this property. Meaning that if you're in a negative cash flow position, can you support it with your personal income from your job? If you can, great. But you've already been punched once. How many more times can you get punched before you can't do it anymore?
Right.
Are you negative?
Yeah, this was just one. This was just the rents going down this summer was what took them into a negative cash flow.
2 properties.
Yeah.
2 properties. If you're negative $500 each, then that means you are floating this property $1,000 a month every month. And if you can float that because you have a good wage or you got a good salary, great. But what happens if the furnace goes?
Yeah.
What happens if there's a flood in the basement and your deductible is $10,000? You know what I mean? That's more money that you're going to have to float. And I'd hate to be you to be in a position where you're like, it's okay, I can float $1,000 a month. It's okay. And then there's a $12,000 flood, and you have a $10,000 deductible, and you're like, I don't have that $10,000. So what do? You sell the property, but you sell the property with the whole flood situation in there, and you sell it for less at a bad time, right? So I just want you, if you can float it, great. That's what we're going to try and do. That's the solution to this. Because if you sell it, that is when you immediately accept your loss. You accept it. But if we can ride this thing out a little bit, over time, if you let real estate do its thing, equity will build. Rents will go up. They may have gone down, but will they stay down forever? No. You might have bought in a really peak rental market, and now the rental market is going down, but it will peak again. So you might be able, just through time and allowing real estate to do its thing, allowing the market to grow, real estate investing, the cash flow tends to grow over time because your payments stay the same relatively, but the rents will continue to go up as affordability goes up. So if you may be in the bottom right now, but 3 years from now, the rents might be $300 or $500 higher. Right? Because the rental market stabilizes. Right now, in many major markets in Canada, there's an oversupply because we've been building so much. And the USA is going to be dealing with that in a few years from now because of this new act that they passed, but it's okay, another topic. We have an oversupply, and they've reduced immigration numbers. So we're in a spot right now where it's like we got more supply than we have people. But what'll happen is people will realize that, they'll stop building, it'll stabilize the rental market, and then the population or the demand will increase again, and it'll balance. So you just got to wait it out. And I think that
it's all just a cycle.
Yeah, it is all just a cycle, right? And then as well, rents will go up and demand might increase, and then you might hit another peak rental market again, right? And maybe that property does work again. So don't worry. If you can ride this thing out, that's going to be the best option. Okay. Selling could be an option. I don't know how much negative cash flow this is. I don't know if maybe it is a great time to sell. I don't know what you bought it for.
Yeah.
I don't know what you've done to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're underwater because you did some work to it. Like, I don't know all the circumstances. So if you want me to look at this like closely and take everything into consideration, book a coaching call like Matthew did last night. You just go to our website, reimasters.ca. You can book a 1 hour coaching call with me, and I can look at it and I can come up with a detailed plan, and with your best interest in mind, of course, if you trust me. But what I wrote down was that, like, let's say, for example, and this is something that a lot of people do, is they'll buy a house and they're like, I'm going to buy a house and add a secondary suite. I'm going to add a basement suite. Well, if you were to do something like that, I see a lot of people making the mistake of, like, they buy a $500,000 house and they're like, oh, someone told me to add a basement suite because it increases my rental income. Okay, so they buy it for $500,000 and then they spend $100,000 adding the basement suite. So now they're into that property for $600,000. But if you're in a position right now where it's like it doesn't cash flow anymore because rents went down, I want to sell. Well, just because you spent $600,000 on that property doesn't mean it's worth $600,000. In residential real estate, the market value of your property is based on the market value. And that's based off of other properties that are similar to yours in your area with the same size and finishings that have sold recently. And whatever they sold for recently determines the value of your property. So if you bought it for $500,000, spent $100,000 on it, and you're into it for $600,000, but it's only worth $550,000 because your neighbor sold their house with a basement suite 2 months ago for $550,000, then the value is $550,000. And the next buyer who comes along and sees your $600,000 listing or more, they're going to ask their realtor, hey, can you pull recently sold comparables for a property like this? And they're like, oh yeah, the neighbor just sold theirs 2 months ago for $550,000. I think we should offer them $540,000. In that case, you'd be $60,000 underwater. Should you sell right now? Well, it depends on how long you've owned it. How much mortgage have you paid down? How much equity do you have in there? You bought it for $500,000, so you probably put $100,000 down, 20% down. And you also spent another $100,000. So you're into it for $200,000 cash, right? You need to sell it for $600,000 in order to get your $200,000 back, minus realtor and closing costs. Okay. So realistically, if the realtor costs and closing costs are $20K, you need to sell this thing for $620,000 to break even. Not including how much mortgage you've paid down over the last few years. If you've been paying down the mortgage $5,000 a year for the last 3 years, that means you've built up $15,000 worth of equity. I'm going really fast because I got 14 minutes left and there's tons I need to go through. But that would mean you would need to sell this house for $604,000 in order to break even. But it's only worth $540 or $550. Should you sell it for $540, $550? No. That the second you sell it, that's when you accept the loss. You're going to accept a loss of about $54,000.
Right.
Or more. You do not want to do that. So of your 200 that you put into it, you're only going to get 140, what did I say? $146,000 back.
Yeah.
You just took a $56,000 loss. Don't do that. If you hold off, what can happen is if you hold on to it for another 10 years, here's what's going to happen. Rents are going to go up. So then your cash flow situation is going to get resolved if you can ride it out. As well, every year you're paying down, let's say hypothetically, $5,000 in mortgage. So if you do that just for 10 years, that's about $50,000, $60,000 worth of mortgage get paid down and build an equity. There goes your loss. If the value of the property doesn't change at all, but you paid down $54,000 worth of mortgage, wait 10 years, then sell, then you break even. Mm-hmm. You don't lose $54,000. That's just mortgage pay down. But what's going to happen is that as well, the value of the property is going to go up over the next 10 years as well. So maybe in 10 years it's worth $700 or $800. Maybe instead of taking a $54,000 loss right now, in 10 years from now, you could take a $200,000 profit. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. All you have to do is just wait and let real estate do its thing. Let the mortgage pay down. Let the value go up. Let it do its thing. Find the right moment where it does work. Okay? So selling can make sense if this isn't the circumstance. If the circumstance right now is that you bought it for, $500,000 and in the last 3 years now it's worth $550 and there's $20,000 in realtor fees and closing costs. So you sell it for $550 minus 20, you're going to make a $30,000 profit plus the mortgage pay down that you had over the last few years. So another 15. So $45,000 worth of profit on your $100,000 investment. It's not terrible. It's about a 15% ROI per year. Not bad. If that makes sense, go for it. It's not the greatest return in the world. It's mediocre, but at least you profited. If that's the circumstance. And this is what I mean. I have to look at your actual deal in order to figure out what's the best move, whether you should sell it or shouldn't sell it. I think that if you're at the very least going to break even, I would say sell it. Put that money into something that's going to generate you significantly higher returns, but higher returns with lower risk. Buy something that meets the 5% rule so that the next time something like this happens, the rents go down, interest rates go up, or some storm comes through, you're prepared. You've got strong cash flow that'll provide you that cushion if you do need to lower your rents or your expenses go up. You've got that strong cash flow that you can also put into a reserve fund so you have the 10 grand to be able to pay for the flood. It's like, oh, that sucks. Really wish that didn't happen. It's okay though. Swipe, cha-ching. Like you've got the money, it's on hand. Just an expense, right? Okay. So here's what you can do if you want to try and keep this property. If you can ride it out and cover the shortfall, great. If you can't and you need to find some creative ways in order to be able to make this work, the first thing I would do is look at your rents and see, is there any way I can increase the rent? Now, I'm not telling you to jack up the rent to more than market value because that thing's going to be sitting on Facebook Marketplace for months. That's what a lot of people try and do. Yeah. They just try and increase here. I'll just raise the rents.
Yeah. Well, and they clearly lowered them. They had to lower them in order to fill it. It said had to lower rents this summer.
So you're probably in a situation where you're like, okay, this has been sitting too long. I have to lower my rents, right? Yeah. And so find creative ways to increase the rents. There's not much. I said, I'm not a magician. I can't just be like, oh, just do this. But what you can do is try, and here's a couple ideas. One is that you can try and rent the garage separate. sometimes bundling garage with the rent, it's, you try and match whatever people are charging for, a house with a garage.
Yeah, you're at the mercy of just whatever the market rent is saying a house and a garage is. It's not like you can be like, oh no, I'm going to make the garage $400 instead of $200. You can't do that. It's a package deal.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can try and rent the garage separately. And in some cases, renting it separately to somebody else, you can actually rent it for hire. For someone who's looking to store their vehicle for the winter or something like that. Obviously you don't want to rent it out to like a mechanic who's going to be, putting a lift in there and operating a business, because that might interfere with the person who's living on site.
And also your insurance. But
yeah, it's another conversation. But, try and find someone who's looking to store their vehicle maybe, and instead of charging $200, you can charge $250. And I've seen a lot of people do that. Do I do that personally? No, it's a huge fucking headache. And it's not worth my time. But in your situation, I think you could take a headache in order to help with your cash flow situation, right? Maybe somebody just ordered a shit ton of pallets from China for their new product, and Amazon FBA increased their storage costs, and you need a place to store all these pallets. $250 for that garage is significantly cheaper than storing it at the fulfillment warehouse in Nisku. Yeah, I tied it in there.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Anyways, another thing you could do is maybe charge for pets. So maybe if you weren't allowing pets before, now you can charge $50 per pet. It's entirely up to you. If you don't like pets in your properties, then don't do it. But again, you got to do what you got to do in order to ride this out. And yeah, maybe they do a little extra wear and tear to your carpet or something like that, and it's a brand new property. It sucks. Maybe it's not the best idea, but does it allow you to ride out this storm so you can still live? You know what I mean? Then maybe that means you got to replace your carpet in 4 or 5 years, but hopefully by 4 or 5 years from now, rent stabilized, the market's a little bit better, and you're able to you can ride out that wave. And then at that point, you're able to pay for the new carpet or the increased frequency replacement of that carpet. You know what I mean? You do what you got to do in order to survive. You're in survival mode right now. You don't have the luxury of being picky choosy. Yeah. Okay. Us personally, we always allow pets. We buy properties we don't buy brand new properties with brand new carpet, because we know that the animals are going to do damage to the carpet. Yeah. But we buy properties that have laminate or vinyl where it doesn't really matter so much. Another topic, another day. Okay. Here's one that I think this is probably your best idea, if it works. And it depends on how long you've owned the property. Excuse me. Depends on how much equity you've built into it. But say, for example, maybe you do have a lot of equity. And if you sold the property, you would cash out all that equity, your original investment plus all your profits that are in the equity. Maybe you have that, but you don't want to sell this property right now because you're in a bit of a down market, and the house was worth $800 before, and right now it's worth $720. And you're like, fuck, it was just worth $800 last summer, and now I got to sell for $720. You just know that it's just a bad time to sell. You want to wait until next summer to try and sell it. You want to ride this thing out so that you can realize those gains. Because as soon as you sell the property, you accept whatever the value is at that particular time. Okay. One thing you can do if all your ducks are in a row. Thank you. And it works out, is you can refinance your property.
Okay.
This could be a creative solution for buying you a little bit of time. Okay. If you're in a bad position where it's just not cash flowing really well, but you know there's potential for this property that you want to realize in the future, then you have the amount of equity to do it. A lot of people look at refinance and they're like, okay, I'm going to refinance and pull my money back out. Don't pull your money back out. Refinance the property, but extend the amortization. Keep the existing mortgage balance. Don't pull out any additional capital. Don't add a HELOC. Just keep whatever the balance is, but re-extend your amortization back to 30 years. So let's say you've owned it for 8 years. You've built up a bunch of equity through mortgage paydown and appreciation. keep the mortgage amount exactly the same, but take it from 22 years that's left on the mortgage and bring it back up to 30 years. What that's going to do is, it's originally when you bought the property, let's say it was a $500,000 mortgage amortized over 30 years. When they did that at the interest rate at that time, it spit out a mortgage amount, a monthly mortgage payment. Let's say the monthly mortgage payment was, let's say $2,000 a month. I know it's more, but let's say $500,000 mortgage over 30 years, $2,000 payment. You've been paying those $2,000 payments every month for 8 years. But if you go now, you've paid down the mortgage to say $400,000. Okay. Now there's $400,000 left owing. Go back to the bank, re-amortize it back to 30 years again. Now what they're going to do is they're going to spit out a new mortgage payment for a 30-year mortgage for $400,000. It's going to be less than the $500,000. So maybe your mortgage payment now is not $2,000 anymore. Maybe it's $1,700, which creates an additional $300 worth of cash flow for you. That can stop the bleeding for you. Again, if all of that works out, you have to have that equity to be able to create that. But that's a solution if you don't want to realize a loss right now, or you don't want to accept a lower price right now because you see potential in the future to be able to make more. I've done that before. I've re-amortized. Yeah. Sometimes it might be as simple as just calling them up, and you don't have to do a full refinance. Sometimes they'll just add an extra 3 or 4 years onto your amortization. If you just call them up and say, hey, I'm struggling right now with my payments. I'm struggling right now. I don't think I'm going to be able to make my mortgage payments anymore. Is there any way that you can extend my amortization by a few years? Mm-hmm. You can do that right now. I mean, I don't recommend it to everybody, but if you're in a bad position and you've got 15 years left on the mortgage and you're like calling at the bank and like, I don't know if I can make these payments, just say, would you extend my amortization? I've had it where they've extended it to 19 years. Yeah. Right? Now, it wasn't me in some bad financial position. It was me in some complicated seller financing deal, which allowed me to increase my cash flow. But I'm saying it's a lever that you can pull if you need it. And maybe if you didn't know that lever was there, now you do. Now you know that there is different options available. I think that I would start with that one. See if you can extend the amortization, which will lower your mortgage payments and hopefully provide a little bit of relief. Okay. I almost think of it less of a lever and more like a pressure relief valve.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right? It's there, right? Another pressure relief valve, if you need it, if you're in a bad position, is to call your mortgage company and see if they have any yearly skip payments.
Yeah. Just thinking that, I was like, it feels like the same kind of relief as like a skip payment, or I think they sometimes call them like vacation payments or something. Yeah. Yeah. Take a vacation from your payment.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what it is?
Yeah. So not all mortgage companies have them in their terms of, what they offer, but several of them do, where once a year you can call them and request that whatever month, upcoming month, they skip taking a payment. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like it relieves you of needing to pay that interest. That interest from what that payment would be gets just added to the back end of your mortgage amount. But it relieves you from needing to make a payment that month. So some people will use them, if they're in a tight financial situation, it gives them relief and able to kind of catch up on their finances. So it's a great option. It was used a lot during COVID times when everybody was having a hard time making money.
Yeah, and a lot during 2023 to 2024 when interest rates went up.
Yes.
Right? So, these storms come through every few years, and there's going to be things that are going to get in the way of you and your business. But, just understanding the different, strategies or the different things that, pressure relief valves that are available, can sometimes save you when you need them. I got two other options here, but I don't know if these are necessarily going to apply to this individual. To be honest with you, I think that the ones that we already explained are the ones that are going to provide you the most relief here. These other two might not be so much, but depending on what situation everybody is in, depending on how you got into this situation or this circumstance. One other option, if you bought a property and it doesn't work anymore, but you have the luxury of having more capital, you've got some more savings where you could go and maybe fix the problem. So if you're in a situation where you're negative cash flow and you can't hang on anymore and you don't have any money to support this and you got to sell, then these won't apply to you. But if you are in a position where you bought a property, but someone misled you or misguided you, and you need to find a way to fix it, to ride it out. Another thing you can do is maybe, like the earlier example, maybe you add a basement suite. Maybe it does make sense to add a basement suite, right? In the example I gave earlier, you have a $500,000 house, you spend $100, it's worth, you're into it for $600, but it's only worth $550. Not a good idea.
That doesn't work. Yeah.
But if you have a house that you paid $350 for, and you spend $100, you're into it for $450, but it's worth $500 afterwards, that creates $50,000 worth of instant equity, and it took a property that was cash flowing $50 a month and turns it into a property that's cash flowing $500 a month, right? And you'll have to run your numbers to figure that out. You want to look at it from two angles. One, if I spend this money, will it increase the value of the property to more than what I am into it for? That's the first thing you need to look at. The second thing you need to look at is, will this increase my overall cash flow after it's done? Okay. And what you have to look at is that, you used to have a mortgage that started at $280,000 because you bought it for $350, you put $70 down, your mortgage was $280, okay, at 4%. You had a mortgage amount, but now what you're going to do is you're going to blend that. You're probably going to blend that those renovation costs into your new mortgage. So now your new mortgage is $400,000 because now it's appraised at $500,000. You refinance, you have a $400,000 mortgage, 30 years, 4%. So you went from having a $280,000 mortgage to a $400,000 mortgage. That means your mortgage payment will go up, and your property taxes are going to go up, and your insurance is going to go up. So what you need to do is add all that up, figure out what your new expenses are, but then compare that to what the new rent is. Because you used to be renting it out for $2,200 a month. Now you're renting it out for $3,200 a month. Have you increased or bettered your position? Is your position more favorable now? Do you have more cash flow? Is this more sustainable now? If it makes sense, do it. If it doesn't make sense for those two things, don't do it. Simple?
Simple.
Holy fuck, that right there was worth $1,000.
Yeah.
That right there is worth $1,000 in the 64th minute of the show. That was worth $1,000 right there. If you stuck around for it, you would not believe how many people don't understand that
and mess it up.
Can you imagine they bought a property for $500, spent $100 on it, earned it for $600, and then immediately it's worth $550? They lost $50,000 just by doing it.
Well, or on the other point that you made, okay, great. Now it's worth whatever, like let's say $600,000, but that doesn't cash flow.
True.
Like, so great, you increase the value and you got it refinanced, but now your mortgage is super high and you're not bringing in the amount of rent you need to make a cash flow. So you've just put yourself maybe even in an even worse cash flow position.
This is one of the heavy misconceptions around the BRRRR strategy where people mess up.
Yes.
Because they only focus on how do I get my money back out, but they don't realize that they're not cash flowing afterwards.
Ooh, look at how much money I made on my refinance. I pulled out $100,000 or whatever.
But I'm drowning $600 a month. Does
it cash flow?
Yeah.
Safely?
Yeah. A topic for another day. But here's the last thing. So adding a basement suite could help. If you bought a property that someone said it was a really good idea and now you realize it wasn't, is there any way you can fix it? Sometimes adding a basement suite can resolve the problem. Mm-hmm. It can provide some relief. Here's the other one. And this is actually something that I'm coaching someone through right now, is they bought a property. They thought it was a really great idea and they were wrong. Whatever. You made a mistake. But they reached out and said, I'm in a position right now where I don't know what to do. I overspent, meaning that like they bought it, they added a basement suite, And they are underwater now because they didn't know that by doing that, it was actually going to be worth less than what they spent. And they heard us talking about garden suites. And they said, do you think I can actually add a garden suite to this? And I said, yes. And they said, will it help me? And so here's the situation. Adding a basement suite did not help the property. It actually made it worse. They're underwater by, let's say, $20,000. And it doesn't really cash flow all that well. They thought it would because somebody told them, add a basement suite. Like you could bring in an extra $1,200 a month. Yeah, but they didn't realize their expenses went up. So it actually didn't help the situation, and they're underwater. So they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm thinking about adding a garden suite, but am I just making it worse? Am I just putting myself more underwater? And in most cases, yes. But what they asked about was the multi-unit garden suites. And I said, there's your solution. Because adding a multi-unit garden suite, what you're doing is, if you can build a 4-plex garden suite, for example, and add an additional $1,500 worth of cash flow, that $1,500 worth of cash flow can offset your negative $500 worth of cash flow, for example. Now the whole property is $1,000 cash flow, right? So sometimes adding more can provide relief and offset some of the bad decisions you made or offset some of the negative things of the property, right? So maybe adding a garden suite might solve that problem as well. We've got a property that we're building on. The house itself does not cash flow. It's like mediocre. It's maybe like $20 cash flow or something like that. It's like a break even. And the return on investment is not very good. It's actually, I would never buy that house.
Yeah.
I would never buy that house.
Does not meet the fundamentals.
It doesn't meet, it's not that it's a bad house, not that it's in a bad area. It's just that it does not work as an investment property because it doesn't meet the fundamentals. It doesn't meet the 5% rule, and it has terrible return on investment. There's no real upside either. But by adding a 4-plex garden suite to it, the benefits of the garden suite, it's almost like it's big brother. It's like the big brother helps out the little brother. So now the profits from the garden suite, because they're so incredibly strong, and the cash flow, which makes it so incredibly robust, and it provides that big cushion, is actually protecting. The little house is actually under the protection of the garden suite. And yes, the garden suite does tower over the little house, but now it's more of a...
it's like it's providing
it's more
shade
symbolic
from the
now.
sun.
It is. It's like now it's actually really protecting the house because the house couldn't defend itself from the rental market. It couldn't defend itself from the real estate market. But the garden suite is now the bodyguard, which is the bigger brother that's protecting him on the schoolyard.
I like it. You're coming up with some good ones lately. You are.
Thank you. But it does.
Yeah.
So if you're in a situation where you've got a property that like can't really support itself, build the garden suite so that way it's the King Corso. I see you there, Stuart. It's the King Corso. It's
if you don't have a King Corso, get a garden suite. Not just one, 4.
It'll protect your property.
Yeah.
That big old, I'm gonna call the garden suite the big old junkyard dog. To protect your property.
Love this, you guys.
This is good. This is really good. But yeah, that's it. So it's not always gonna work.
Yeah.
It's not always going to work. You have to focus on the numbers. So this is what I mean by like, for the love of God, I'm not just trying to throw some gimmick at you. Be like, you got to build garden suites. It's the best. I'm actually showing you why. And I want you to run your numbers because it will not always work. It can't protect everything. It can't solve every problem. But I'm telling you right now, the opportunity with garden suites, multi-unit garden suites specifically in Edmonton, Alberta, when I say there's an opportunity, I mean that like there are the values of real estate right now compared to the value of building it, the numbers work. It won't work forever because that $400,000 house that doesn't really work all that well, it can be saved by that $650,000 garden suite. Okay? It will solve the problem. But a $650,000 multi-unit garden suite cannot save a $900,000 house. Mm-hmm. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So that $400,000 house works now, but what happens when the value of that $400,000 house goes up to $500,000 in 5 years? Will it still work? Maybe. Depends on what the rents are at that time. It all comes down to math. And if you understand the math, you could recognize the opportunities here. This is how I recognized it. because I understand the rental market and what the market rents are. I understand what the values are. I understand the construction costs. I understand the legal side of the zoning and what's possible in the city. And that's how we were able to recognize this. We spotted a unique opportunity that's available right now that works right now. It might not work in a year from now because the cost of building supplies might go up, the cost of real estate might go up, or the city might not allow it anymore. So when you see a unique opportunity like this, a tremendous opportunity, you jump on it while it's there. If you wait around until timing seems right for you, the numbers might not work anymore.
Yeah.
Right? This is an opportunity for today that I am giving to you guys for free. Go and do it. And it might just solve your cash flow situation as well. If you've got some properties that are not performing as good as what you thought, or maybe they're not performing as good as what they used to perform, this might be the junkyard dog, or this might be the big bodyguard that can come in and protect your property so that way you can ride it out until when you do want to sell it and realize the profits that you were hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's it. That's today's show. Hopefully it's valuable. I am sorry for the situation that you're in. If you need any more help, go to my website, www.reimasters.ca. If you click on the menu there, there is an option to book a one-on-one call with me. I can look at your situation individually. Similarly, if anybody else has a situation like that where you need some solutions and you want me to look at your numbers in detail and try and figure out an exit strategy for you or a plan, or you want to learn about garden suites or anything else, or you just want me to look at your deal. Hey, I'm about to buy this deal. I don't know if it's a good idea. Reach out.
Wayne, normally people listen back in 2x speed. I think that they're going to need to slow this one down.
Was I talking fast?
Yes.
It's because I'm watching
a lot of information.
It
was great. It was great.
You should have seen the coaching call last night. It was 5 times faster.
You crammed so much good information into there. But yeah, I think if they go to listen back, it's going to need to be slowed down. Yeah.
I'll answer Charn's question here really quickly. He says, just to check, do banks allow skip payments on rentals? Yes, some of them do.
Yeah.
Go and look.
You need to call and ask.
You call and ask, or check your mortgage documents that you signed.
Yeah.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
A lot of them do. It's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
It'll help. I mean, if you can get a skip payment, let's say it's I'll use simple math. Let's say you have a $1,200 mortgage payment. If you do a skip payment, that's essentially creating an additional $100 a month in cash flow for that year per month. 1,200 divided by 12 months.
Yeah.
$100 cash flow. That's $100 cash flow relief.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a great option. Great question. I don't see any other questions in here, so I'm just going to end today's show because we are at the 73-minute mark. I love this stuff. You know that, right? Yeah. I really do love this stuff, and I hope you guys love it too. And if you guys need any help, you know that we're here for free every weekday morning at 7 a.m. Follow us on YouTube, Wayne Hillier, Real Estate Investing Coach, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Want to be coached personally by Wayne and Gabby? Then you should join the Real Estate Investing Masters Mentorship Program. Details are in the show notes to get started.